morning. Welcome back to We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. We're here today talking about some great stuff. We are wanting to get into ways that we can improve our mental health. So, myself, and of course, my co host, the son, we're here just to talk about, how we can consider improving our mental health. And with that, I've done some research. I always do research. So I want to put some research out there that I have been able to come about as far as thinking on the terms of improving our mental health status. So, one of the things that I came across is people are now really focusing on meditation. And I thought that was amazing because I'm a big person that had started meditate. I started meditating maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe. And I've been doing it for quite some time. And it's been very helpful for me. But with saying meditation, I will say this. A lot of people want to meditate, but I know it's a hard thing to jump into. But the other one is fasting. And that is something I also participate in. And I think I only started fasting maybe about 2 years ago, and have seen drastic changes and have felt definitely amazing. One of the things I always tell individuals is even though, I'm in the mental health field, and a lot of my colleagues were in the mental health field, we're still trying to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves as well. So, Tremaine, I wanted to see if you can jump in and, kind of give us a little background, I guess, from your standpoint, as far as improving your mental health and kind of maintaining things for the most part. What are some of the things you think about?
Oh, you mean like in terms of the meditation part? Is that
No,
what you're asking?
no. In terms of what you would typically do, the meditation and the fasting are two that I found like at the top of the list when we're talking about how people improve their mental health or how people maintain their mental health. And for me, actually, both of them hit the top of the list, and I do both. So, I mean, I do other things too. But what are some of the things that you think that you do? Like, I will say this. If I'm talking to my adolescents when I'm working, a lot of them would say, well, oh, yeah, I listen to music all the time. Music is my thing. Music helps calm me down. Some of them will take a walk. So, what are some of the things that you typically tend to do to help, improve your mental health or make sure that you are keeping everything intact there?
I mean, I do pretty much. I mean, I listen to music like anyone else, and
Hmm.
pretty much. I mean, I just find my moments of peace. Maybe doing the dishes, doing something like that.
Okay.
Taking time just to myself mostly.
Hmm. So finding time, and you know what? That was another one on the list as well. That people find a whole lot of peace in that time of solitude, just being with themselves. Which, of course, as a mental health therapist, I think that's amazing because that's one of the main factors that we have a lot of patients that come through sometimes is because they haven't adjusted to who they are for themselves. So that kind of bothers them when they're looking at, YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and things like that and trying to be this person, trying to be like that person instead of really just truly being with themselves and finding that, that solitude and being satisfied with who they are as a person. So that totally makes sense to me, Tremaine. 100%. But again, when it comes down to people coping with stressors in life, working on relationships, trying to have those good relationships, trying to maintain their physical health. Of course, their mental health goes along with that as well. Trying to work and be productive and getting things done. A lot of times those are great areas for people, and that applies a lot of pressure to them sometimes.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point of meditation and other things of that nature is to de-stressify.
Exactly, exactly. Another thing I'll admit that I find with meditation is that being positive and having a ongoing positive outlook has been extremely helpful when it comes down to meditation. Like I said, some people can't get into it. I know I was one of those persons who I probably was meditating a year and a half before I actually started hitting plateaus of, oh my goodness, I'm actually meditating. Because for some people it's hard to do, and for me it was hard to do. It was hard for me to really sit there and go to a place where I can really just be mindful and not worrying about 50 million other things that's going on in my life. So staying positive was major for me. I mean, I'm a typically optimistic, person anyway. But I find that staying positive is very helpful when you're talking about doing meditation and, being in the moment and being mindful and all that good stuff.
Anytime you have to do anything, you have to come with a positive attitude toward anything you start
Mm-hmm.
doing. And I mean, I'm not as positive as you, but the alone time is very important and very. I need it more than anything else in this in this world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I get that. I think
Let's we love each other. You know, family has family.
exactly, exactly. And like I said, I get that. That totally makes sense to me. But it's nice to hear you even say that solitude is something that's helpful when it comes down to improving or maintaining our mental health. Because when you think about it, meditation is one of those things that you typically do by yourself. Although you can go to a meditation group, I've learned different things like that too. You can go to a meditation group. However, there are many ways to start, many ways to get involved in it. Some people try at home by themselves. I'll be honest with you, where I started on YouTube, just listening to YouTube meditations, and listening to them at night and listening to them in the mornings, especially the early mornings when I wake up and I'm not quite ready to get up yet. I'll definitely put a meditation on so I can just listen to it, and either I'm going to go back to sleep or I'm really going to pay attention to what's going on with it, and it's going to give me something. It definitely helps with my creativity, and it helps with, just being more open-minded and being more, like I say, creative. And just seeing a difference in myself and seeing a difference in my positive attitude, being more positive and being more optimistic. That has been amazing. And a lot of people, of course, again, do meditation for religious reasons and spiritual reasons and things of that nature. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be back. So please come back to join us for We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. DrLatashaMcElwain.com, providing services in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. If you're interested in mental health or substance abuse services, please contact 704-492-1105 or go to our website, www.drlatashamcElwain.com. And we're back with We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. And today we're talking about ways that we can really, really focus on improving our mental health with meditation. And we're going to jump into fasting as well. But for starters, when we start talking about meditation, a lot of times we got to think about meditation 101. We got to think about the techniques. We got to think about the benefits. We got to think about how to begin with meditation. A lot of times I tell individuals, again, like I mentioned earlier, meditation is one of those things that you would have to want to do. It is one of those things that takes some time before you start getting to the point where you're actually seeing a whole lot of results from it. But I tend to enjoy the meditation part because, like I said, it does help me to clarify things. It helps me to have a more open mind, and it helps with my creativity. Tremaine, I know you mentioned having that time of solitude, which, is not necessarily meditation, but could be characterized as, a level of meditation where you're definitely feeling real comfortable with yourself and being in your skin, right?
I mean, I disagree. I think it is meditation because I mean,
Okay.
a a moment to take in a breath for yourself is that. I mean, that is kind of a form of meditation, if not anything.
You're right. You're right. And I'm glad you mentioned that too, because, a lot of times on a few of my um, social medias, I've been promoting to people that meditation can be in several different ways. So I'm glad you said it like that, Tremaine, because it does make sense. I do a meditative walk. I tend to do that. I tend to, encourage people to take a minute if they're in a space that they're able to take a second. I do it in the pool. I tend to, kind of just get my legs up there and, hold on to my ankles for the most part, and just have my little sit in the pool and just kind of float for a little bit. So you're right. That makes sense to me. Yeah. So meditation can be in many different forms, and it doesn't always have to be sitting down and being totally still and nothing. You know what I mean? So it could be a meditative walk. It could be a meditative run. You know? Does that kind of hit what you're trying to say, Tremaine?
It's just a form of relaxation. That's all it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree. I agree. A lot of times, too, I tell people when you start to meditate, there's a level of practicing a whole lot of gratitude and being thankful for the things that that's in your life. The fact that you woke up this morning. So that's another big part of meditation is practicing that gratitude. You know.
Yes, it's just your moment of introspection, pretty
Yeah,
much.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think a lot of us need that moment.
I mean, a lot of us should have that moment because th- things are ve- things are things can be very overwhelming.
Yeah, not only overwhelming, things move so fast, everything changing.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to have that moment and look back at everything that may have gone on in your life. Be like, hey, at least I'm kind of, even if you're going through something, to say, hey, I'm making it through
Yes,
it.
I'm here. Right. I tell people all the time, I'm here. Yes.
Be
Okay.
more here in the moment, not just.
Yeah. Not just here and not being in the moment, being thankful and being grateful for where you are, and things of that nature. So I get that. A lot of times, the physical health, when we talk about physical health, I tell people all the time, thinking about being physically active, getting enough sleep, and, eating and things like that. Those are other moments where we still have to think about, our anxiety levels, our, maintain our mental health. We still have to, you know, look at those things and be like, okay. And like I said, I've tried to introduce levels of meditation with other activities, such as even dance meditative, activities. Like I said, the walking, laying in the pool, definitely bath time. I do meditative baths also. I take that 20 minutes a day to get me a meditative bath in and then do what I call a meditative walk, just having that moment. And I definitely like the idea of being out in nature, being out, in the greenery or in a garden or something, just, or in a park, just really taking in the sights and breathing the fresh air. So, with that being said, what else do you think is another way for people to really kind of connect with themselves, even though they're meditating? Like I said, you can meditate in a group setting as well. What else do you think would be good parts of, let's say, getting to the point of people trying to meditate with it? They can't necessarily do it when they're sitting still. What are some other thoughts you can think of, Tremaine, or have you even thought about some other ways to be able to meditate?
Well, in terms of meditation, I mean, doing anything can get you into that mode of meditation. It's more of kind of letting yourself be in the moment, basically, more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could do that while doing light exercises.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
tend to, I tend to allow myself to, just like even though I'm doing something, allow myself to just kind of allow like the rest of my body to relax.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm pr- I'm I'm pretty I have a lot of tension in my shoulders and stuff, and so I tend to whenever I exercise tend to if I'm doing something with my legs, I'll relax my shoulders a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's helped out a little bit.
Yeah. I can agree with that. So when we're actually thinking about, meditation, I always tell people you got to think about your mind and your body practice and kind of getting both of them on the same level or the same terms. You know what I mean? So a lot of times when we're thinking about meditation, I don't know if people really go to thinking about mind and body and practicing being focused on your attention and your awareness, basically what's going on, with your body, what's going on in your mind, and just being mindful of things and being able to take yourself, of course, I do realize that, again, like I said, there are different ways you can do meditation. You can do meditation by sitting up, sitting up, in a quiet room, or you can go lie down. Some people do say, I was trying to meditate, but I go to sleep. That happens. And then some people do walking, some people do their yoga positions and things of that nature. So there are a lot of different ways that you can actually, find yourself in a comfortable way of doing, your meditation practice, or getting to the point that you can feel like you're actually actively doing a meditation practice.
Absolutely. It I
Or
think we've made certain through like media and certain things, you think of meditation, you think of it differently. You think of it sitting down and, you know, getting into a zen like state when it's really not that. I mean, there are different forms of everything.
Yeah, it's just like you said, relaxation. It's just a natural way to respond, relaxation response, basically. And I tell people all the time, being able to, do a progressive relaxation, which a lot of times we do that in mental health, where we do the tightening and the tightening of the muscles, and then letting go, tightening, letting go, to let the muscle groups get the whole full feel of really relaxing. Sometimes we do guided imagery with individuals where, we speak through, like being out on the beach or something like that. And then sometimes we do some of the biofeedback things for the most part. I don't do a whole lot of that. But yeah, I do know a few therapists that get into all that good stuff. And then deep breathing is one that I think everybody does. Even, we teach that, well, not teach it, but I know in the home, that's one of the things I always encourage you guys to take deep breaths. Slow down, take deep breaths for a minute.
I mean, that should be the way most people should learn meditation is just deep breathing
I
because
agree.
most people, if you were to get into a really high tension situation, you're hyperventilating, you're warming up, but if you were to calm yourself down and easy breathe in, breathe out, take it in slow,
Yes,
will
yes.
calm you down in most cases.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing is really just, being focused on, again, relaxation. I always tell people, pre-COVID, we were running, running, running. Now we're kind of post-COVID. It's looking at, okay, we've got to really slow down because, COVID was one of those things that really made us focus and made us think about, okay, slow down, take care of ourselves. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and go to a commercial break. So, come back to join us, and we'll be back after these messages. Insightful Options, PLLC, Counseling and Consulting Services. Appointment line 704-492-1105, and ask about the affordable rate counseling and teletherapy sessions. They offer services in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, and also provide telehealth therapy on a regular basis. And we're back with We Got Options with the Doctor and Son. Today we're talking about, maintaining our mental health and making sure that we're doing things to improve and maintain our mental health. And the two things we kind of jumped into was talking about meditation, and we're going to talk about fasting also. So we talked a lot about meditation and some of the techniques, and we're trying to give people other ideas and ways to jump out there and get their meditation started by, helping them to reduce their stress, their anxiety, their depression, different levels of pain and things of that nature. And also just becoming one with themselves and feeling that they're taking care of themselves. I call it all the time self-care. But one of the big things is that, meditation goes back a long way. It's something that's been, we've been doing, or excuse me, everyone has been kind of doing in different countries in the US. everyone has been doing it for quite some time. But I think in the past few years, I know in the mental health services where we are, a lot of times, that's been something that has been really pressed upon and something that really helps when we start to notice that some of our patients are actually doing it. And then a good bit of us, as myself, have started doing it on our own as well when it comes down to meditation. So, with that being said, we do know that it takes time to get into it, but there's so many different other ways to be able to meditate with walking or with doing a meditative bath, or, even if you're just, like I said, sitting in a quiet room and you end up going to sleep, it's okay. You started the process and your intention was there. So, what I like to say with that is meditation is a great part of maintaining, focusing, and improving your mental health overall. Tremaine, any thoughts you have with that?
I mean, not really. I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head on that one. But um, if I mean, it's a form of relaxation. I think we need to kind of demystify the idea of meditation.
Oh yeah, that makes sense because a lot of people just think, oh, if I meditate, then I'm just sitting there and oh, I'm quiet and I'm this and
Yeah,
I'm
I mean, everyone has a very Hollywood way of thinking of meditation.
yes. And like I tell people, it does help. Like we mentioned earlier, reducing the stress, anxiety, the depression, promoting more emotional health, making sure that you're in a good place, lengthening our attention span, which some of us have very short ones, reducing our blood pressure, making sure that we're able to sleep well, improve our sleeping, help control pain. There's so many benefits, to meditation that, yeah, all those things help.
Mhm.
Yes. All right. So the next part here is talking a little bit about fasting. And I think we're going to end up running into, continuing this for a second show because when you think about improving your mental health or maintaining your mental health, I mean, we're just tapping on mental health. We're just tapping on fasting and meditation. But there's a lot of different things out there that you can consider doing when we're talking about meditation, which makes it, a longer topic. And then there's a lot of things to consider also when we start talking about fasting. So when we start talking about fasting, basically that's talking about eating, on the time frame, an 8 hour time frame, or sometimes people eat on a 6 hour time frame. That I believe it's um, the 8 hours, 16 hours. That's normally what I do. I'm kind of off that now because my everything is really balanced out. I've been doing the fasting for about a year and a half, almost 2 years now, and it's been really good. It's something that I really believe in. But I'm not a strict faster because when I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat. My inner big girl will come out and I will eat. So when we're talking about fasting, Tremaine, do you have any thoughts when it comes to fasting?
I've taken a look inside, and I'm not a fan. It's just it is it is kind of a little much, but I understand the idea around it. That's it.
Yeah, and
I'll I'll be learning from you pretty much.
what I'm gonna say about fasting because there's so many different ways you can fast. You can do the 24 day, 24 hours a day fast. You have some people that do it for religious reasons and they start going into longer periods. I mean, I've heard of someone doing the 40 days and 40 nights. I'm not on that level. However, I am on a level where I have done the intermittent fasting and realizing how it's helped with weight loss, but it's helped to maintain my weight because I lost the weight and then I gained it right back in muscle. So that was a good thing for me. And then I also noticed that a lot of my different ailments that I was kind of dealing with are, pre when you turn a certain age, they start telling you you're pre this and pre that, or going toward your numbers are going in that direction and they want them to come back down. That was very helpful for me with a lot of things when I started fasting to make sure that those numbers were coming down and things were, getting better and looking better as far as, numbers for, diabetes, numbers for cholesterol, numbers for your blood pressure and things like that. Those were really, and those are really crucial numbers the older you get anyway. But, fasting has been helpful in that area for me. But again, a lot of times, not only just health, the effects of your health, with your health, I think a lot of times we got to think about the effects also, with how people think about things, overall, and just making sure that they're taking care of themselves because that all jumps in and winds in together. But with that being said, what I would like to do is because we just started talking about fasting and just jumped in, Tremaine, what do you think? You think we should do part 2 for this show? You know,
Sure. If you think you have more to show,
please, because I can give some more experiences about fasting because I'm currently doing it. So I'm meditating and I'm fasting. So I want to see, we will do a part 2 to this show because I think it will be a great introduction so people can hear more about meditation and more about fasting, and it'll keep us on our toes and it'll keep us moving forward. There's a lot of information about fasting. Like I said, I think a lot of people think, oh, I have to be in some religious cult or I have to be doing something spiritual. Not necessarily. But it is a way of getting that clarity in your mind as well, and it's a way of not always thinking about food, which is one of the biggest thing that you know we in America have here is always kind of what's for lunch, what's for breakfast, what's for dinner, around the clock. So it does help with things like that, and eating when you really have to eat versus when you just want to eat because it's there. So with that, I think that we will definitely do a second show talking about improving and maintaining your mental health. Definitely in those terms of working on meditation and finding the best, technique for for meditation for individuals. A way of just, relaxing and working on that level of relaxation. And then also from the fasting standpoint, and fasting doesn't have to be oh, I'm not going to eat all day. I tell people all the time, if you're thinking about fasting, you can also do some small little changes in your diet to help. Maybe you go for water for the first 2 hours a day and then have a meal and have something else. And then the last 3 hours a day, flush your system again and go for more water. So there are different ways you can do things to be really, really creative with the way you're deciding to live your best life and try to work with it. I will say though, when it comes down to fasting, I tell everyone check with your doctor first before you do anything when it comes down to fasting, because that could be, a major concern, especially if you have health issues and you're getting to those ages where those things come up a little bit more frequently. So with that, Tremaine, you think we've covered everything, and it sounds like we got a good a good place to go when we jump back in next week.
sure. Uh,
Tremaine, you are wild. I'm listening to your responses today. But yes, so come back and join us. We got options with the doctor and son, and we will see you again next time. Have a good one. This message is brought to you by Green McElwain Foundation. The Green McElwain Foundation organization is having a high tea charitable society event on June 24th, July 22nd, and August 26th. If you are interested in attending to mingle and network with like minded people, you can contact www.greenmcilwainfoundation.org, or you can send an email to lsmcilwain@gmail.com. That is LSMCILWAINE at gmail.com for further information.